Well, good Saturday morning to everybody. Hope you're doing well. I don't usually come on Saturday morning and play, but sometimes you play when you get the opportunity to play. And since I missed out on one of my weekday opportunities, I'm going to make it up hopefully with the game today. We are in Seattle. It is the Kansas City Royals against the Seattle Mariners. Game number 378 in the overall total of things, and another game on the June 7th. In fact, the last game on June the 7th, 1987. That's Sunday. Starting on Monday, we go to June 8th, and all the series and all the teams switch off. And in fact, the first game on Monday morning will be the Red Sox at the Orioles. That'll be on Monday. And then on Tuesday, it'll be the Blue Jays at the Yankees. So American League East action the first 2 days. On Monday and Tuesday coming up, it'll be the first two games in the June 8th schedule. All right, so we look at the starting pitchers for today's game. Mike Moore for the Seattle Mariners, and Bud Black, a left-hander for the Kansas City Royals. Mike Moore 4-6, Bud Black 2-3. For whatever reason, I didn't finish doing Bud Black's numbers. See, plus he's a 0 on the hold. The only thing I didn't fill in was the balk and pass balls, and I'll do that in the bottom of the first when I get to his spot to pitch. Kansas City comes in 25-27. Still a little bit of life left in them to try to catch the Oakland A's. Seattle's mired in last place. I think they're pretty much done. They're just playing the season out. Good morning, Colin. Good to see you. And so we'll get this game going here very shortly. It is a nasty rainy day outside. It's supposed to get like 1.5 inches of rain today. Fortunately, the temperatures are in the 60s, so it's not snow. But it's going to be a nasty rainy day. And so I did a lot of my Saturday chores that I would normally have done outside. I did them yesterday, so I don't have to go out today, which is a very good thing. Stay inside where it's dry and comfortable. All right, let's look at the final or full statistics for Mike Moore on the replay. Moore on the real season was 9-19 with a 4.71 ERA. He's pitching much better in the replay. In the replay, he's 4-6 with a 3.59 ERA, so he's dropped a whole point. He's still not getting the run support he would really like to have, but still not bad. 80 innings pitched, 83 hits, 21 walks, and 40 strikeouts. So Mike Moore, and he's got a fatigue of 7, so they're hoping he can give him a few innings and not tax the bullpen any more than it's already been taxed. Willie Wilson will lead off for the Royals. Here are your lineups for both teams. Nothing really out of the ordinary with the lefty Black on the mound. Seattle has gone to their right-handed lineup, so you won't see Ken Phelps. You won't see Mike Kingery, as Christensen's in right field for Kingery, and Brantley, the center fielder, is in there for Moses, and then you have Valley DHing for Phelps, and you also have Kearney catching instead of Scott Bradley. So they went fully all right-handed hitting. The only left-hander is Alvin Davis. Everybody else is right-handed. All right, so Willie Wilson will lead things off. He is hitting 289 on the replay, 2 homers, 12 driven in. He hit 279 real world. And just like on the weekdays, before the first pitch is thrown, we have the ceremonial first sip. I don't see Jeffrey here this morning yet, but it's good coffee nonetheless, no matter who's here. So now we're ready to go. Willie Wilson, switch hitter, 4-8, and that's a strikeout for Mike Moore. Starts out with a bang with a strikeout. Of course, there's a dot there, but that only comes into play when he's fatigued. So Willie Wilson down on strikes, and that brings up Kevin Seitzer, third baseman. Seitzer hitting 272 on the replay, 8 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 323 real world. 1-7, and that's a double 1-13, but that's a 15, so we'll settle with a single. Kevin Seitzer, 1-out single. Let's see if he wants to try to get a lead. Moore is a combined -3. He's a -4, and Kearney's a +1. So combined -3. So that would make that a 1-10 if he got the lead. Not very good chances there. So Seitzer will stand pat. they'll hold him on, but he won't try for any leads or anything. And here is Danny Tartable. Tartable on the replay is hitting 323, 14 homers, 39 driven in. He hit 309 real world. 2-8, and that's a solid single to right field. Seitzer may be looking to go to third. He's a 13, was being held, makes him a 12, but you get +2 going from right field to on a throw to third base, so it makes him a 14. Christensen is a -1, so that makes it a 13. 1 to 13 to get to third base. And I think that's worth the gamble because you really want somebody at third with less than 2 outs. Seattle will throw through, which means Tartable will take second on the throw regardless of what happens. But it's a 1 to 4. I'm sorry, because let me redo the calculation again. 13 being held is a 12, +2 is a 14, -1 is a 13. So right back to the 13. So 1 to 13, he's safe. And he's out at third base. Wow, what a throw from Christensen. That's going to be Dolly Parton style, 9 to 5 on the throw out. Now, taking second on the throw is Tartable, but sure, the Royals thought they were going to be slick and put runners at the corners with only 1 out, and that just didn't happen. As John Christensen had other ideas, and they throw Seitzer out at third base. So with 2 outs now, that designated here Thad Bosley is at the plate. Tartable at second base makes this a clutch situation. So in the clutch for Bosley, he loses 2 hits here, 1-5 and 1-9. Also loses a hit on 3-7. Bosley on the replay hitting just 151. He's really struggled in 73 at bats. 2 homers, 7 driven in. He hit 279 real world. Chance to make up for it right here. 4-4. That's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1 to 5, so that's going to end up being a fly to center. And what looked promising for Kansas City turns not so promising there after that throw by Christian took out the runner at third base. So half an inning in the books, and it's Kansas City nothing. Seattle coming to bat. Bud Black is your starting pitcher. On the replay, in the real season, he was 8-6 with a 3.60 ERA. On the replay, he's 2-3 with a 2.28 earned run average. So he's pitched really well, just has not gotten the run support he needs. He pitched a lot of games in relief and has now turned to the starting rotation. So he's only pitched 47 innings, 39 hits, 14 walks, 29 strikeouts. And he'll be facing Harold Reynolds, who usually bats ninth, but they've moved him to the leadoff spot in this game. So Harold Reynolds hitting 292 on the replay. No homers, 11 driven in. He hit 275 real world. Hello, Emmanuel Christian Rivera. How are you? Good morning to you. This is an American League only, 87 replay, every game, yes, but only American League. I'm simming the National League so that I can get a champion for whoever wins this to play in the World Series, or I could just have them play the Cardinals, one or the other. I haven't decided yet if I want to let the Strat computer sim somebody or whether I just want to have them play the Cardinals. I might just have them play the Cardinals just to be easy about it. So here's Reynolds, switch hitter batting right-handed, 5'8". The pop up to short. Salazar will take it. 1 away. Like I said, I don't usually play a lot of Saturday morning games. Usually my Saturdays when I was doing the NBC game of the week was always at noon. So this is a different one for me. Playing in the morning. Here's Phil Bradley, 209 on the replay. 5 homers, 19 driven in. Hit 297 real world. 5-8, and that's another, but the same result. Pops up to short. We rolled 2 5-8s in a row and get the same result. So 2 up and 2 down for Mickey Brantley, center fielder. He's only hitting 152 in 33 at bats. A homer and 2 driven in. He hit 302 real world in 351 at bats. But he's only had 33 at bats, so got to give him time. 6-8, and that's a 1 to 15 single. That's exactly what happens there. A 2-out single for Mickey Brantley. Brantley will be looking to get a lead, perhaps. I said I was going to get the balk and pass ball ratings on Black, and I forgot to write that in. So let me write that in now off the computer. He's a 9 wild pitch and a 0 balk, just so I have that for reference. All right, so Mickey Brantley, 2 through 5 will get him the lead, a good lead, I should say, 2 through 5. Does not get the good lead he will hold. And here comes Dave Valley, the designated hitter. Valley hitting 212 on the replay. 1 homer, 10 driven in. He at 256 real world. It's a 3-8, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. That'll do it. Nothing much for the Mariners there. An innocent 2-out single. Nothing else going on. We go to the second. No score from the Kingdom. Oh, hey, Manny. All right, I will call you Manny then. Thank you very much for letting me know. All right, we go to top of the second, and it'll be Frank White, the venerable Frank White. 6 homers, 19 driven in, 240 was his average on the replay. He hit 245 real world. It's a 5-12, and that's a ground ball first base C, so Alvin Davis will flip it to Moore covering for the first out. White is retired, and here comes Steve Bye-Bye Balboni. Hello, Jeremiah. Good to see you. Bye-Bye Balboni hitting 156 on the replay, 9 homers, 19 driven in. He hit 207 real world. 2-6, and he's going to ground it to short. And Ramos makes the play very easily. 2 up and 2 down for Bo Knows. Jackson on the replay hitting 235. 7 homers, 19 driven in. And what did he hit in real world? But 235. So he's right on his number there. Power numbers a little bit off, a little bit slow, a little bit low on power numbers. To keep his pace, he should have, to reach 22, he should be around 10 or 11 home runs right now. He's only at 7. But certainly he's got more time to catch things up here. Moore, 5-5, and that's a fly to right field. That'll do it. 3 up, 3 down, go the Royals. We go to the bottom of the second, still no score from the Kingdom. Good morning, Robert. Well, happy birthday there, Mr. Jeremiah. Almost a New Year's baby, but not quite. So here's Jim Presley, the Hound Dog. He's hitting 220 on the replay, 11 homers, 38 driven in. He hit 247 real world. 3-7 against the left-hander, struck him out. First strikeout for Bud Black. Bud painted black. If you are a Rolling Stones fan. All right, here's Alvin Davis, lefty on lefty, the only lefty in the lineup. He's hitting 302 on the replay, 11 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 295 real world. 4-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Salazar, 2E16. 2E16 for Salazar. 2 and a 5. It's going to be interesting. I think you'll get to that. Yep, he will. And that's a 13, and he's an E16. E16, there's a 14, but no 13 there, so Salazar will make the play. 2 up and 2 down. Hello, Tim. Good to see you. Here is Christensen. John Christensen hitting 246, 2 homers, 7 driven in. He hit 242 real world. 3-3. And as a fly ball to right field, you can see he's a platoon guy. 80% of his at-bats came against lefties. So he played against lefties, and Kingery played against righties. Is pretty much how they ran it. That's a 3-3, which is a fly to right to end the inning. So nothing doing after 2 innings from the Kingdom. I'm sure the runs will be coming shortly, you would think. Especially in a ballpark like the Kingdom, which is very homer-friendly. Not very single-friendly, but definitely homer-friendly. We'll go to the top of the third. Good morning, Phil. Good to see you. Top of the third, here's Angel Salazar. He's hitting 245 on the replay. 2 homers, 11 driven in. He hit 205 real world. 2-5, and that is a solid single for Salazar to lead things off. Larry Owen is up. I don't usually like to bunt, but to me, this is the perfect time to bunt. Larry Owen on the real season hit 189. And he is an A bunter, which is unusual for a catcher, but they gave him an A bunting rating, so we're going to bunt. Just seems to make sense. I don't like to do it, but certain times it does seem to make sense. So nothing on the havoc. So now we're going to see where the bunt goes. It's a 2. So I think it goes right back to Mike Moore, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go to our bunt chart. 2, yep, it goes right back to Mike Moore. Corners are in, so it makes him a B bunter. So basically he's a 9 or less. He gets a 10. That's a pop-up, and that's going to be ineffective as he pops it up right to the pitcher, Mike Moore. Bad bunt, but Salazar does get back and avoids being doubled off. So 1 away, and that bunt failed, and there you go. That's why I don't like to bunt. It seems like I never have a good bunt situation, or never have a good outcome when I bunt half the time. So the dice are telling me don't bunt, apparently. Let's see. Salazar will be held on, but won't go anywhere. And here's Willie Wilson. He struck out his first time up. 4-9. Let's see here. 4-9 is a solid single to center field. So let's see. At first base, Salazar. Center fielder arm is Brantley -2. So they'll hold Salazar at second base. They already had 1 runner thrown out at third. They're not going to do it again. So first and second with 1 out for Kevin Seitzer. Good morning, Rogers. I don't remember the exact date. I can go back and look it up, but I don't. I mean, I got a playlist, so I guess if you go look at the playlist and look at the date it was done, you could probably tell. All right, here's Kevin Seitzer. It's a 1-8 for Seitzer, and that's a single to right field. And again, the right fielder, Christensen's a -1 arm. He already threw somebody out at third. Can he throw Salazar out at home? We shall see. He's a 13, not being held as a 14. -1's a 13. 1 to 13, he would score. And Wilson and Seitzer will both move up on the throw. So they are going to throw through to the plate to try to get the runner, and the trail runners will both move up because they both run, their run rate exceeds 13. So a 1 to 13, and Salazar will score. And he does. So it's an RBI single from Kevin Seitzer, and everybody moves up on the throw. So the Royals finally get on the board, lead it 1-0. And now the infield will come in for the Mariners with 1 out for Danny Tartable. Hello, Captain Carl. Tartable singled his first time up. 1-2. That's a Lomax plus injury, so they're going to get a double play out of this. On the 1-2, we got the Lomax. It's to third base. So they're going to double off Wilson at third base, 5 unassisted. With the infield being in, it's very easy for the third baseman, the Hound Dog Presley, to just step on the bag and double him off. So the damage is down to 1 run thanks to that Lomax. And that will end the inning. Now we're going to check for an injury on Tartable, potential injury on Tartable. So Tartable, oops, bring that sheet back to the way it's supposed to be. And the way I play it is I use this sheet, and if it's a 1 to 6, he can stay in the game. 7 or higher, he's got to come out. And he's got to come out. So Tartable will leave the game due to injury. And Kansas City will need a new right fielder. And these are the guys they have to choose from to play right field. Really, Juan Benitez is probably your only choice. I don't see anybody else rated for right field on the bench unless you move somebody from here. Boz is a DH, so you can't. If you put him in right field, you lose your DH. So they really only have one move that I can see. The only thing you can do is move Bo Jackson to right field, put Seitzer in left field, and put a new third baseman in. But that really hinders your defense. So I think the first choice is going to be Juan Benitez. So Juan Benitez will take over in right field in the fourth inning, or in the third inning, right at the bottom of the third. So Juan Beniquez takes over in right field. That is it for Tartable. He is done. But Kansas City does have a 1-0 lead. And here's Bud Black. And he'll be facing Kearney, Ramos, and Reynolds for the Mariners. So Owen had 7 sacrifice hits in 1987. Interesting. I think it might have had something to do with his position in the batting order. 9th place hitter and not a very good hitter. They probably figured they could try to steal a base with the outs. Same thing I was thinking until he failed to bunt. All right, here's Kearney. Kearney's hitting 154. He's only had 26 at bats. 154, no homers or runs driven in. In real life, in 47 at bats, he hit 170 with no home runs. So he does here against Black, 311, and that's a strikeout plus injuries. Now Kearney might be injured, and they might have to go to their other. They got 3 catchers, but one of them is a DH, so you don't go lose him. So you're going to have to go to your left-handed hitting catcher, Scott Bradley, if he's injured. So if Kearney is injured, Scott Bradley would come on. But again, we're going to go back and use the injury roll. So again, 311 against the lefties, a strikeout plus injury. And so once again, 1-7, he's going to be out of the game. 1-6, he stays in the game. 7 or higher, he's out. And he's out of the game. So that's going to be it for Kearney. He felt a twinge when he swung, I guess. And now Scott Bradley. This is not the Demolition League, but we sure are getting injuries. So Bradley will come in and catch in the 4th inning in place of the injured Kearney. Now, if something happens to Bradley, they would have to move Valley to the catcher spot and lose the DH. So that would be the next alternative if it got to that. So Kearney out on strikes. And that brings up Domingo Ramos, shortstop. He's hitting 273 on the replay. 1 homer, 4 driven in. He at 311 real world. So 2-6, and he's going to get a solid single. Ramos gets himself a base hit. He's no threat to run. And here's Harold Reynolds. .5-3, and that's going to be a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Bo. He's a 4E14. 4 and an 18, he gets to it. The E14, but that's a 16. That could be trouble. E14 and a 16, he escapes. 12, 14, and 17 are errors, but not a 16. So Bo Jackson makes the catch for out number 2. So 2 down, and here is Phil Bradley. That's a 4-4, and that's going to be a catcher X, and that is going to be Owen. He's a 3E5. 3 and a 16. We'll see what he did with that. Shouldn't be a problem, I wouldn't think. 3 and a 16 is a foul, straight old foul out on a 3 and a 16. That's an 11, and he's an E5. There's no thing there. So straight old foul out will end the inning. So at the end of 3, it is still 1-0 Kansas City. Now on the computer, we need to bring in Scott Bradley to catch. Place of the injured Kearney. Seattle already going with a limited bench as it is. They only have 4 bench players. They just used one of them right here. So the only ones left are Phelps, Kingery, and John Moses. That's all they have left on their bench. So they have more bullpen guys, less bench guys. All right, so top of the 4th, that means Mike Moore. And it means Thad Bosley, Frank White, and Steve Bye-Bye Balboni. Due up for the Royals. And time for some more coffee before it gets cold. Because we just can't have cold coffee. 3-8. And that's going to be a ground ball to second. Well, it wouldn't be cold. It'd be room temperature. And that's maybe worse than cold coffee is coffee that's just room temperature, man. Here's Frank White. 1-4 for White. That's trouble for Moore. 1-3 is a triple. 4-20 is a solid double for Frank White. White, a one-out double. Royals looking to add to their lead. Here comes Bye-Bye. Steve Bye-Bye Balboni. So 1-5. Oh, he just missed that. Look at that. 1-4 was a solid home run, but a 1-5 is a ground ball to short. That holds the runner at second. 2 down for Bo Jackson in a clutch situation. And in the clutch against right-handers, Bo has 2 hits that he loses, 2-3 and 3-10. A lot of strikeouts in his right-handed column there. Well, a lot of strikeouts all the way around, actually. 6-6, and that's going to be a strikeout on Mike Moore's card. And for Mike Moore, that's only his second strikeout. He struck out Wilson to start the game, and this is only the second one. And that'll get him out of the inning after that one-out double. And now that'll bring up Mickey Brantley. Brantley will be facing Bud Black. It'll be Brantley, Valley, and Presley. Due up for the M's as they look to try to get on the board. 2-7, and that's a good start. 1-7 is a double. That's a single. They'll take it. Mickey Brantley with a single, and he's going to try to get the good lead. He couldn't get it last time. He's going to try it again. 2-5. This time he gets the lead. He's going to go 17, being held to 15. 0 on the hold. So 1-15, he's going to steal it. Kansas City Owens a T11, so you got to keep an eye on that. But a 1-15, he steals it. And he's in there. It's a possible throwing error on Owen. He's an 11. And Owen throws it away. So it's a stolen base plus an E2. Stolen base plus E2. So Seattle putting the pressure on Kansas City, and they force an error on Larry Owen. Now the infield, let's see, with nobody out. Well, it's kind of tough to bring the infield in with nobody out. You want to keep it down to a minimal inning. So they'll play back. Here's Dave Valley. 2-6 for Valley, and that's a ground ball to third. And we'll see on the chart whether that scores the run or not. It may not. Since it went to the corners, I think the runner has to hold here. Infield back, runner at third. Ground ball A is a 5. And it says if hit to second or short, batter out, runners advance. Otherwise, batter holds. So batter out, runner holds. So since it went to third base on that 2-6 against the left-hander, since it went to third, that's going to keep the run from scoring. Had it gone to short, it would have scored the run. But when it goes to third, they have to hold. So Mickey Brantley. Hold on, let me fix this on the computer. I did the stolen base and the error without putting Mickey Brantley on for base to begin with. So kind of screwed things up here. So let me put Mickey Brantley there. Then we do the stolen base plus the error. And now we do the ground out to third, and we get back in business. So 1 away, and with 1 out now, the infield will come in with 1 out. And here is Jim Presley, the Hound Dog. But now with 1 out, it makes more sense to bring the infield in. 4-6, and that's going to be a walk. So that'll put runners at the corners. It does set up a double play if you want to think about it in a different way. So now the infield's back for that double play with Alvin Davis, the batter. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball rating on Owen, which is a 4. No pass ball. So here's Alvin Davis. 6-8, that's a strikeout for Bud Black and a big one. Strikeout number 3. Now the infield can go back to normal and not have to worry about anything as far as trying to choke the run at the plate. Here's Christensen in a clutch situation. In the clutch, he loses some hits here, 1-6, 1-12, and 2-6. One 9, however, is a fly to center, and that'll end it. So Bud Black pitches around the mess, particularly the error. Seattle gets a runner at third with nobody out and cannot score. So we go to the top of the fifth, still 1-0. It'll be Salazar, Owen, and Wilson due up. 6-10, and that's going to be an in-home run chance. 1-13, that's a 1, but Salazar has weak power against righties, so it will only be a single. But he is 2 for 2. And you know what? First, you don't succeed, you try again. So we're going to have Larry Owen bunt again. This time the bunt's going back to Mike Moore again. And once again, he's going to need a 9 or less to have a good bunt. Last time he rolled a 10 and popped it out. But he's going to need a 9 or less. He's a B buncher with the corners in. He's going to need a 9 or less. 5 will do it. That's a perfectly good bunt. He bunts it to Moore, so it's going to go sacrifice 1-4 with Reynolds covering first base. Salazar will move up. So Owen puts the runner in scoring position with 1 out for Willie Wilson. For 11, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. They were not holding Salazar on, so Ramos will keep his 4E36. Shortstop X, but a 4E36 is a little iffy. 4-18, though, should be okay. The E36 might be the problem, but a 4-18 is a G1. That's a 15. That's a high number for an E36. E36 and the 15 is right here in a one-base error for Ramos. So Ramos will boot it, and that'll put runners at the corners. Critical error there on Ramos. Well, they sure do miss Ray Quinones, who was injured, but man, he was a much better fielder. Probably would have made that play. All right, now Willie Wilson looking to maybe get a lead here. Despite the -3, he doesn't care about that because he starts with a 19. So it'd be a 1-14 if he got the lead. So he's going to look for the lead here. 3 through 6. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold. And here's Kevin Seitzer. And the Mariners playing back for that double play again and try to get out of the inning. Seitzer, however, is 2 for 2. 3-9, and that's a walk, and that's going to load the bases. And for Mike Moore, I believe that's the first walk he has issued in this game. But now the bases are loaded with only 1 out. Double play still gets him out of the inning. And now Juan Beniquez will be making his first at bat of the game. Came in for the injured Tartable. Beniquez on the replay hitting .261, 4 homers, 23 driven in. He had .251 real world. So the Mariners back for the double play if they can get it. 1-9. That's going to be a walk. He's going to force in a run. Second walk in a row by Mike Moore. And the Royals take a 2-0 lead, and they're still looking for more with the bases loaded. Back-to-back walks. That'll bring up Thad Bosley. Of course, the infield still back for that double play. 3-8, and this time they get it. It's a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play. Ground ball to second. That's a 4-6-3 double play. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in Pennsylvania, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, stop by and give them a shout out. I think Beatles Eternally said he's not that far from them. But Giovanni's Tailor Shop sponsoring that 4-6-3 tailor-made double play. And we go to the, whoops, my computer is telling me I've got the wrong stuff here. So let's see, it goes to, oh, he's got to stay at second. Okay. That's what it was. All right, now it's in the computer correctly. Bud Black will come out and pitch. This is his fatigue inning. He's got a 5-4 fatigue, so keep an eye on him as that is his fatigue inning, although he does enjoy a 2-0 lead. And here's Scott Bradley. This will be his first at bat since coming in for the injured Kearney. So Bradley, doesn't play against lefties all that much, only 16%, but he's forced into action here. He's hitting 265 on the replay. No homers, 18 driven in. He at 278 real world. Lefty-lefty matchup. 6-6 is a line out right to Frank White. One away. So one down, and that brings up Domingo Ramos. That's a 2-3, and he's hit by the pitch. So Ramos gets plunked by Bud Black. Puts a runner on. Brings a tying run to the plate in Harold Reynolds. Ramos not being held. 4-7, right, switch hitter batting right-handed. Ground ball shortstop X, possible double play if they can turn it. 2E16 for Salazar. 2-14 will be a G1, no question about it. 2-14 is a G1. That is a 13, and he is an E16. E16, there's a 14 and a 17, but no 13, and now another Giovanni's tailor-made double play as we get that ground ball shortstop X for a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. Second Giovanni's Tailor Shop double play of the inning. One in the top half and one in the bottom half. So we go to the sixth, and with that double play, that means Bud Black retains endurance for the sixth, so he can keep pitching. Moore comes out. His fatigue is the seventh inning, so he's definitely good. It'll be White, Balboni, and Jackson due up. 3-2, and that's a split. 1-2 is a single. That's a 10. Line it out to short. So Frank White, the Southern sportsman, is out of there. One away. Hey, Larry Harris, good to see you. Here is Steve Balboni, Mr. Bye-Bye. He's grounded to short twice. 3-11. This time it's a potential home run on a 1-2. That's a 10, so he'll settle with a double. So Bye-Bye with the double. One out double for Balboni. And that brings up Bo Nose. Jackson is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. That's a 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a balk rating of Mike Moore, which is a 3. 1-3, he balks. No balk. So we keep it going with Bo Jackson. 5-8, and that's a fly to center field, 2 down. So 2 away, and that's going to send up Angel Salazar in a clutch situation. And he's definitely anti-clutch here in column 2. 2-5, 2-9, and 2-10 are all hits that he will lose in the clutch. Wants to avoid column 2. There are no hits for him in column 2, except for a partial hit on 2-8. But other than that, he needs to avoid column 2. And both guys got, well, you usually get one hung up. I've never seen both of them get hung up, but they certainly did. So we're going to re-roll that. The 20 and the white die got hung up there. It's a 5-5, and that's a fly to right field, and that'll end the inning. So Mike Moore trying to keep his team in the game, just not getting any run support, which typically happens when Mike Moore pitches in this replay. He just doesn't get the run support. All right, here's Phil Bradley. He will lead off. It's a heart of the order: Bradley, Brantley, and Valley. Time for the Mariners to make some hay. 3-6, and that's a good start for him. A leadoff walk for Phil Bradley. And for Black, I believe that's his second walk. He's hit a batter and walked 2. Struck out 3. Let's see. Phil Bradley looking to get a lead here. 0 holds, so it would be a 1-17 if he got the lead. Does not get the lead, so he will hold. And here's Mickey Brantley. He's 2 for 2. 5-12. That's a ground ball pitcher B. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. So it's going to be a fielder's choice, 1-4. and they get the lead runner. Brantley, the new runner at first, he's going to try for the lead. He needs a 2 through 5. Does not get it. He will hold. And here comes Death Valley. Designated hitter. He's 0 for 2. 2-9 against the left-hander is a pop out to second base, where Frank White will take care of it. 2 down. And now it's going to be all up to the hound dog, Jim Presley. He is 0 for 1 with a walk, has not put bat on ball yet. 5-5, and he's going to fly to center field, and that will end the inning. So Bud Black will retain some endurance. He will start into the 7th inning. No reason not to. Pitching a shutout, and he's not tired yet, so we'll let him keep going. Mike Moore, now this will be his fatigue inning. He does have a number 7 right here, so this will be his fatigue inning. And I can see on my screen, it looks like the far right-hand side of the cards, column 6 and column 3 are getting cut off. So if I roll a 3 or 6, I'll slide the cards over, but I don't want to lose the dice tray either. So, and I don't really want to cover up what's done here. So, all right, here's Owen. He's tried to bunt twice, but now he's going to lead off the inning, so he gets to do what he wants to do here. 4-7, and he will draw a walk. How about that? And now maybe it's time for Willie Wilson to lay down a bunt. Wilson's a B bunter. He is a B bunter. I'll use the old half and half to see whether they're going to play the corners in or not. 1, 2, or 3, the corners are in. 4, 5, or 6, the corners are back. So the corners are in, so it makes him a C bunter if they choose to bunt. But we're going to, you know what, I'm in a bunting mood, so we're going to bunt here. He's a C bunter. First we'll roll havoc. Nothing happening there. It's a 2. It's going right back to Mike Moore. But he's a C bunter, so he's into this. So he basically needs an 8 or less to have a good bunt. It's a 6, which is defense. Now the defense has a chance, and they might go for the lead dog because the runner, Owen, only runs at a 10. So on defense, just for those who haven't seen it, it's running speed -4 plus the fielder's defensive rating. So he's a 10, makes him a -4, makes him a 6. Mike Moore defensively is a 2, so that makes it an 8. That means his safe range is 1 to 8. So they will throw for the lead dog. A 1 to 8, he's going to be safe, but a 9 or 20, they get the force. And he's out at second base, so it's going to end up being a fielder's choice. And he is out 1 to 6 on the failed bunt. I'm going to put an FCB here to signify it's a fielder's choice on a bunt. And now Wilson at first base with 1 out. He'll try to get the lead. He needs a 3 through 6. And he gets the lead. He's going to go 19 being held to 17. And again, a -3 there makes it a 14. So 1 to 14 for Willie Wilson. And he got caught stealing. How about that? Scott Bradley. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to redo my thing here because I was going off Kearney being a +1. Bradley's Scott Bradley. Okay, that changes everything. Scott Bradley is a +2, so that makes this a -2. So let's recalculate it. He might be safe. Let me double check this here. Forgot to change his hold rating when he put the new catcher in. So let's look again. 19 being held to 17, -2 is a 15, so he's actually safe. He is actually safe on the appeal. They argued and got the call. So stolen base for Willie Wilson. That's because of the new catcher. I forgot to change this rating based on the new catcher, Bradley, who has a +2 arm versus Kearney's +1 arm. At that point, with one number, it makes a difference. So stolen base for Willie Wilson. He's in scoring position with 1 out now for Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer's reached base all 3 times. 6-8, and that's going to score the run. 1 to 7 is a double. That's a 10. It's a single 2 stars, but that's good enough to score Wilson. So Wilson will score, making it 3-0 Royals. 3-0 Royals. And now Seitzer looking to possibly get a lead here. Needs a 5 through 6. Gets the 5, he's going to go. He's a 15, being held as a 13, minus 2 is an 11. Still a 55% chance. They're playing with house money at this point. 1 to 11. And he got caught stealing, but that's not a big deal for them. Two down, bases clear for Juan Beniquez, but now the Royals lead at 3-0. 3-9 for Beniquez, and that is a line out to third. Had the runner been successful stealing, well, it still wouldn't have been a clutch situation because there had only been 1 out at that point. But now that's going to end the inning on a line out to third. So the run comes in. It's 3-0 Kansas City. And we're at the 7th inning stretch, so I am going to go heat my coffee because it has definitely gotten lukewarm. And I need to have warm coffee for me to finish this game. Bud Black will come out to start the 7th inning. He'll be facing Davis, Christensen, and Bradley. Not Kearney, but Bradley. So 2 lefties will be coming up here for sure. But you can't pinch hit for Bradley because you don't have any catchers left other than Valley, who's DH, and you lose your DH. So you're going to have to stick with that. So we will go ahead and go to the 7th inning stretch and give people a chance to stretch, myself included. And we'll try to enjoy Take Me Out to the Ball Game while all that is going on. Should be no more than a minute and a half or so to go down and zap the coffee for 30 seconds and come back upstairs. So we go to the 7th inning stretch. It is Seattle trailing Kansas City 3-0. And we right back in about 2 minutes after Take Me Out to the Ball Game. All right, back with warm coffee. We are ready to go. All right, Jeremiah, that's good hands. We had some jokes with that when Mr. Guterman used to do his replay. Talked about Bill Hands all the time, all hands on deck and all that good stuff. So bottom of the 7th we go. And that is good coffee. Last cup of the day, too. Got to enjoy it. All right, Bud Black, lefty on lefty matchup. To 110. Ground ball right back to Black. Boy, he had double home run all around, but the ground ball A on the 110 result for 1 away. Brings up Christensen. Oh, the one guy got hung on there again. Why does it keep getting hung up like that? I don't understand that. 4-8 and a right-hander. That's going to be a base hit. 4-20 is a single. So Christensen will get the base hit. And now Kansas City's bullpen might start to stir just a bit. And we go to Scott Bradley. He has to hit because there's no other catcher. 5-7, and he's going to strike out. There's a dot there, but Black not tired yet. So now we go to Ramos. This is probably going to be Black's last inning, I imagine. That's a 1, chance of a wild pitch on Black, which is a 9. And so he does uncork the wild pitch. That puts the runner in scoring position. Makes this a clutch at bat now for Ramos as Christensen moves into scoring position. And in the clutch, he loses 4 hits in column 1. 1-3, 1-7, 1-8, and 1-9. So boy, what a wild pitch could actually work out better for Bud Black, believe it or not. 2-4, though, is going to be a ballpark single check, 1-5, and that's a 10. So we'll keep the ground out to short to end it. And that's going to be it for Bud Black. He's going to go 7 innings. I usually don't like to send guys more than 2 innings past their number. That's usually my, whether you want to call it strat rule or house rule. That's just what I go by. So we go to the 8th inning. Mike Moore still hanging in there. He's got a fatigue of 7, so he's only going 1 past his inning, so we'll let him keep pitching. For Kansas City, we'll look and see who their bullpen, who has the most rest. They've had bullpen issues in the past. They've been losing some games late because of bullpen problems. Quisenberry and Steve Farr have been having some issues. Quisenberry's definitely been kind of overused. So it looks to me like Steve Farr is loosening in the bullpen. So the Royals will turn to Steve Farr to try to close it out and go those 2 innings that they need. He's a relief rating of 3, so he definitely can do it. He's a +5 hold, though. That's not going to help their cause. Makes him a +4. So we'll see what happens with that. But he will be the new pitcher coming in. Right now, they had Bosley facing Mike Moore to start the 8th. That'll be a 3-0 ball game. 6-9, and that's a 1-8 triple. That's a 7. Bosley had 1 triple on the season. He already has 1, but I guess I'll go ahead and give him another one. I won't take it away. So it's a triple for Bosley. And that's going to cause the infield for Seattle to come in, and now the bullpen for Seattle up in earnest as well. Let's see who they have that's rested and can come in. See, we got Shields. He's a possibility. We have Jerry Reed. He's a possibility from the right side. Nunez are closers, so you're not going to really use him. Wilkinson, the only lefty. But we got righties coming up, so looks like they will make a move to the bullpen for Jerry Reed. They're going to go eastbound and down and go to Jerry Reed, and he's going to try to do what they say can't be done, which is keep a guy from third from scoring with nobody out. He is a +5 on the hold. So Mike Moore is going to go 7+. He's going to give up 10 hits, 3 runs, but he is responsible for Bosley. Let's see, walks. He walked 2, I believe it was. I said he walked 2. Let's double check it. Yep. Both right here back to back. There's only 2 walks. He walked 2, and he struck out. I've only got him for 2 strikeouts. Is that right? Struck out Jackson and Wilson. That's it. That's all I see. 2 strikeouts. So Jerry Reed with the infield in now against Frank White. Look at Jerry Reed in his numbers once we bring him in on the computer. Reed on the real season, 1-2, 3.42 ERA and 7 saves. On the replay, he is 2-3 with an 8.48 ERA. He has been crapping the bed in the replay for sure. Does have 3 saves, but boy, you got an 8-point-something ERA. You're really having some issues there. All right, so the infield obviously in as Reed pitches to Frank White. That's a 6-12 for Reed. That's a ground ball pitcher B. That means they're going to get the runner at the plate. On the ground ball B, it's going to be a fielder's choice. So what a break it was there that was a B, because that's going to put him out at the plate. 1-2 on the put out. And what I'm looking at here, for those not sure why I've called it that way, infield in, ground ball B is a 7 with the runner at third. 7 says batter safe, lead runner is out. So there you go. 1-2 on the put out. And that'll put White now at first base with 1 away, and give Seattle a little breathing room. They can put the infield back to normal now for bye-bye Balboni, who did double his last time up. 3-4 for bye-bye, and he gets a ground ball to third, so it'll be a fielder's choice with that B there. 5-4 on the fielder's choice. That brings up Bo Nose with 2 outs and a runner at first. Bo Jackson 0 for 3. That was against Mike Moore. See what he can do against Jerry Reed. 4-8 for Reed. He's going to walk him. Put runners at first and second with 2 outs. Now a clutch situation for Salazar. We've already seen before, Salazar will lose those 3 hits in his column 2. And he gets to column 2, 2-8, but he finds a potential hit here. 2-8 is a single 1-12, and he found a hit. The only hit he could get in column 2 in the clutch is right here, and he found it on a 2-8. It's only a 1 star, though, so it's just going to load the bases. But man, what a lucky break that was for him to be able to find that little slither of a base hit. Bases are loaded. Here comes Larry Owen. Owen in the clutch. He had such few at bats. I don't think he's not even rated for the clutch. 3-4 for Larry Owen, and that is a fly to left to end the inning. So Reed gets out of the mess, and they keep the score at 3-0. So we go to the bottom. So we're going to close the book on Moore now with the 3 runs. So now we go to the bottom of the 8th, and Steve Farr is your new pitcher. Get the numbers on Farr. So bring him in on the computer. Real world, Farr was 4-3 with a 4.15 ERA and 1 save. In the replays, 3-1 with a 5.46 ERA, and already has 5 saves rather. So I've been using him a lot in the save situations. So here's Harold Reynolds to lead things off against Mr. Farr. First, we'll get the numbers on Black. Need to do that. He went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits and no runs. Couldn't ask for much more out of your pitcher than that. Let's see, he struck out, I think this one here was his 4th. Struck out 4 and walked 2. All right, Harold Reynolds against Steve Farr. 5-6, and that's a strikeout for Farr. Good start for Steve Farr. He strikes out Reynolds. Here's Bradley. 1-6 for Bradley is a 1-9 double. That's a 17, though, so it's just a fly to left. 2 down. And that'll bring up Mickey Brantley. 3-7 for Brantley, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So Steve Farr comes in and pitches a really great bottom of the 8th. He's going to try to close it out in the 9th as well. 3-0 Royals as we go to the top of the 9th. Jerry Reed back out, and he'll be facing top of the order, Wilson, Seitzer, and Tartable. 4-8, and that's going to be a 1-18 single, so base hit for Willie Wilson. And he's definitely looking to run, as Reed's got that +5 hold rating. So it's almost going to be a foregone conclusion if he gets a good lead that he's going to be safe. 3 through 6. He does not get the good lead. He could still try it if he wanted to without a good lead. Use that secondary number 15, subtract 4 makes him 11, and the plus 5 still makes him a 16. So he's still going to try it 1 to 16. And he steals it without the good lead. That's just how bad Jerry Reed is in holding runners. Don't always have to have a good lead to get the steal. Not when the pitcher hold is that bad. So here's Seitzer. Four, 5, and that's trouble. 1 to 4 is a triple. 5 to 20 is a single. That'll be an RBI single from Seitzer to score. Wilson makes it 4-0. Favor the Royals. Now Seitzer might be looking to get a lead. 5 or a 6. He gets the lead. He's going to go 15. Being held to 13. Plus 5 is an 18. They're pouring it on. Stolen base. They're holding nothing back. Stolen base again. Now the Seattle bullpen starting to stir again. We have Benitez coming up. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or pass ball. Look at Reed's ratings on those. He is a 2 wild pitch and a 0 balk. So he can't balk. We'll check for pass ball. There is a pass ball check on Owen, which is a 4. I'm sorry, not on Owen, on Bradley. Bradley's pass ball is a, well, it doesn't say it. I got to look on the computer and see what his pass ball rating is. For the new catcher, Bradley, what is his pass ball rating? His pass ball rating is only a 1. So it has to be a 1 to be a pass ball. No pass ball to worry about. Benitez, 2-7 for Benitez. That's a strikeout. Much needed strikeout for Jerry Reed. Gets the first out of the inning. And now here's Thad Bosley. He tripled his last time up. .28 for Bosley. That's a 1 to 6 double. 7 to 20 is a single. 2 stars. That'll score the run. And that'll be it for Jerry Reed. He's going to have to leave the ball game, as he couldn't do it. It's now a 5-0 Kansas City lead, and they'll go to their bullpen, and they will bring on Steve Shields, a right-hander. Try to finish out the inning. +2 hold for Shields makes him a +4. So Frank White will be coming on, but we'll get the numbers on Shields first via the computer. See what Steve Shields has done. You can see on the real season, 2-0 with no save, with 3 saves and a 6.60 earned run average. On the replay, he's 0-0 with a save and an ERA of even 1. He went 9. He's gone 9 innings, given up 10 hits and only 1 earned run. 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. So he's been impressive in the replay. Here's Frank White. 1-8 for White. That's a ground ball shortstop A. We got another Giovanni's Tailor Shop's tailor-made double play. So Shields comes in and pitches to one batter and gets the double play to end the inning. Reed goes 1 1/3. And let's see, he gives up 4 hits, 2 runs, which were earned. He walked 1 and struck out 1. But now a very comfortable 5-0 lead belongs to the Royals. And Steve Farr in to finish it out. And he'll be facing Valley. Scheduled hitters are Valley, Presley, and Davis. So Dave Valley will lead things off. That's a 5-6, and that is a strikeout for Steve Farr. One away for the Hound Dog, Jim Presley. $5.10, and that is a catcher X. We're looking at Owen, and he's a 3E5 as a catcher. 3-3, that could be interesting, but nobody's on base, so that's a good sign for them. So that's just going to be a ground out. 3-3 is a W/G, so there's no wild pitch because nobody's on base. It's a ground out barring an error. That's a 9, and he's an E5. No 9 there, so it's just going to be a 2-3 ground out, which will make it 2 away. Now, last chance saloon is Alvin Davis. Davis is up. $5-6, and that's a strikeout to end the ball game. So Steve Farr, pitching in style, gets that 6th save of his. He only had 1 real world, but he's got 6 in the replay. And the Royals dispatched the Mariners 5-0. In this one, the losers, Mike Moore, he drops to 4-7. Go to the box score and get the totals. Bud Black, your winner. Mike Moore, your loser. For the Royals, 5 runs, 14 hits, and an error. For the Mariners, no runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. Kansas City left 9 on base. Seattle left on 6, so it could have been worse. They left 9 guys on base. Had a couple guys, one guy thrown out at third, one guy thrown out at, let's see here. They had a double line-out double play. It cost them some runs. You had another double play with the bases loaded. It cost them runs. You had the force out at the plate here. You got there's all kinds of stuff that really lost potential runs, but they got enough. So Farr went 2 innings, gave up nothing, struck out 4. Don't know you could do much better than that. So there you have it. The final game of June the 7th is in the books, game number 378. I do have another game to play offline, which is Chicago and California. I'll play that offline and finish that off. And then we'll move on to June the 8th on Monday morning. We'll be in Baltimore. It'll be the Red Sox, Bob Stanley, against the Baltimore Orioles. And I believe the Orioles, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Orioles will have Jeff Ballard as their starter. Yep, lefty Jeff Ballard against Bob Stanley for the Red Sox. Look at the standings now with that win by Kansas City. Improves their record to 26-27. So they are now tied for 3rd place with California and Minnesota at 4.5 games back of Oakland. Seattle drops to a miserable 20-36. They are 12 games out and mired in last place. So hope you all enjoyed that Saturday morning Strat-O-Matic 1987 style game. Not the glamorous of matchups, but it was the last one on the schedule. Could have played this one or Chicago or California. But I played this one offline last time, so I didn't want to skip 2 games in a row with Kansas City and Seattle. So we went and played it. I'll do the California-Chicago game offline. And that will be, let's see who the pitching matchup was again. That'll be Bill Long against Willie Frazier. Not exactly a sexy matchup. So we'll get that one taken care of. And be ready for the next games in the replay on Monday. Not sure what I'm going to do the rest of this day as far as I might do a Demolition League game later on this evening or afternoon. Might do a History Maker game. Haven't decided yet. Of course, Sundays I usually take off and don't do anything. So we'll figure out what's going to happen and play it by ear and see how my day goes. Hope you all have a great Saturday, great weekend. Hope your weekend's off to a good start. Hopefully this game was more entertaining than the football game last night because I won't say who, but some team got taken to the woodshed last night. And so I don't really follow that anymore because I don't really follow semi-pro sports. I follow pro sports, but not semi-pro sports. And there are no more college sports. So that is gone out of the past. The scholar athlete is no longer. All right, that's just the world we live in. All right, so that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.